Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. We are going to take a moment just to wait for a few more people to arrive. I hope you're well. I hope you've got your coffees, got your lunch. How are you, team? Get your microphones off.
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
Good, Carol. And Chantal, hello, and Dimily, hello.
Hi, guys.
Lovely. All right. So we'll it's 12:01. It's good to kick off on time for everyone who's arrived on time, and I'm sure others may join us as we go. My name is Kerry. I'm the Operations and Compliance Manager at National Business Institute of Australia, and we're excited to bring some more information to you this week. You know, we had a webinar last week for anyone else who was able to attend with us, and we went through some information on the course. We had Fiona, the trainer and assessor, walk through some industry news and updates and all the exciting things to do with conveyancing and a little bit to do with our course as well, what we offer and what's involved. But what we've got this week is actually a wonderful past student who, you know, don't let us tell you, let Chantal talk to you about her experience on the course, you know, and how she actually found it, you know. Were there challenging parts? I'm sure there is, because it's an advanced diploma. So, you know, we'll hear from Chantal, who can give us a wave there too, so everyone knows there she is. Great.
I'm
For joining us. And I'll go through our introduction because many of you, I'm sure, will know of Carol if you haven't seen Carol before. And of course, Dinnerly, who's our student support and also our marketing administrator, and also my IT support when I need. So a bit of that all-rounder, which you often will speak with Dinnerly, I'm sure, too, if you haven't already as a student, or if you're even just inquiring about courses and things. Dinnerly is often on the phones to a lot of people. So welcome. So first of all, I'll walk us through, we like to start with an acknowledgement of country. We like to pay our respect to the elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. So our welcome and our recognition of where we are. And so a little bit about us. So like I said, my name's Kerry. I run mainly the operations and compliance at the National Business Institute of Australia, and I speak to a lot of students. I speak to a lot of past students, a lot of people inquiring about courses, and I have more of an education background, so I'm not going to pretend I know everything about conveyancing, because I certainly don't. So that's why we bring our experts in, and that's where Carol comes in. So Carol is one of our key trainers and assessors, and Carol has completed this course previously as well. So that's another wonderful thing about this, is that you've got one trainer and assessor that already knows what you're going through. She knows the challenges, she knows the assessments, she knows the references and the links and the citations that you need to give, and she knows all the laws, the ins and outs. So it's always really nice to know that the trainer and assessor that you are dealing with has been in that seat where you are, so has that complete understanding and able to give you that support. Carol has been with us for, I think, 2 or 3 years as a trainer or assessor, and 4 even. There we go, Carol. And I might even let you speak to this, you know, but we'll get to Carol in the next few slides. But I think, you know, anyone who's ever looked at our Google reviews, I think Carol's mentioned 98% of the time, and it's purely because, you know, this is an online course, and Carol's passionate, she's got the knowledge, and you know, she knows what you're going through. So the support that she gives is obviously super valuable because people feel that they even need to mention it when they're giving us a review because they're so grateful. We even received gifts in the office for Carol because of her wonderful support. So we're very grateful to have Carol on our team. A little bit of an idea of what we're going to run through today. Now, we want to be here for you. We want to answer your questions, whether you're already on the course, whether you're looking at doing the course, the Advanced Diploma of Conveyancing. We're going to go through a little bit of advice from Carol, from a trainer and assessor's perspective. Then we're going to shoot over to Chantal to give us, you know, a little bit of a run through of her thoughts and experience and advice to you guys as well, anyone who's thinking of enrolling, and a little bit more in depth about what we offer on the course, sort of looking at the programs that we use. So we'll show you a little bit of that. But throughout this webinar, if you can put your questions in the Q&A box or in the chat box, whatever's the easiest, and we'll run through those at the end. And you've always got us anytime to reach out to. So we'll tell you how to connect with us at any stage. So we're here to support you. That's what we want to do. So first of all, Carol, we want to throw to you. So do you want to introduce yourself firstly? And yeah, your microphone's off there. So do you want to introduce yourself to everyone first?
Yep. So good afternoon, everybody. As Kerry advised, I'm one of the trainer and assessors. And if you're doing the course at the moment, you will see obviously some feedback from myself. Or if you're looking to do the course, then eventually you will see some feedback from myself. So and again, as Kerry explained, I've actually done this course. I did this course about 5-6 years ago, and I understand where everybody is coming from. This is a course that is up there, and when you complete the course, you're going to be so proud of yourselves because this is only 1 point lower than a degree. So it's definitely up there, but it's so achievable. Okay, I'm going to give you some little tips and some hints. Okay, so the course is structured via modules. So you'll have module 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I would kind of keep in that form, okay? Because there might be, if you skip 2 and you go to 3, well, there might be something in module 2 that could help you with module 3. Yeah. So try not. I know you like to have a look around and see what all the assignments are all about, but try and stick in that order because it will help you. And the first module is obviously a little bit about the law, which conveyancers obviously need to have an understanding of. And the other one is also more around attention to detail. Again, very important for conveyancers. Okay. So my tips. First, what I would do is read the learning guide. The learning guide is so good. Okay. It will give you some helpful hints so you can answer the questions. Okay. The other thing is look at your resources. There's a lot of resources there for you, and they will help you to understand what is required to complete the question. Okay. And the webinars are actually listed. So, for instance, the first one is BSB LEG 422, and there's a couple of webinars there. So, first, what I do is I'd read your learning guide, get a grasp of the understanding, and then I'd look at your webinars. Okay. Again, very, very, very helpful tools. Then I'd go on to your questions. Now, with your questions, take your time and read the question. Okay, there might be, for example, there might be a word count, or they might ask you to provide a piece of legislation. Just you know, I know we all want to get through the course, but just carefully read the question, because it's all about, you know, as an assessor, we're governed by training.gov.au and also ASQA. So we've got rules ourselves that we need to adhere to. So by reading the question, if it's asking for 300 words, I go 300 and above. Okay. So that's one helpful hint for you. The next thing that I'm going to give you a helpful hint is just, where possible, put an hour, maybe an hour and a half away each day for studying. Then you won't get overwhelmed. Okay. By doing that, you can read your workbook. Okay. I've absorbed that. Yep, that's it for the day. I've read my workbook. Okay. Then you might go to your webinars and have a look at your webinars and go, oh, now that relates to that. Yes, I understand that. Okay. Another hour, hour and a half. And next, then look at your questions. And you can always refer back to the webinars, and you can always refer back to your learning guide. Okay. So if where possible, put about 1.5 hours a day away. And that will get you into the flow. Okay. And it will also get you completed within the 12 months. Okay. Again, learning plan. I'm sorry, I just heard that ding. Yeah, your learning plan, as I have spoke about, it's broken now into 4 modules, and I'm not quite sure whether Chantel was there when that was improved. No, okay. So NBIA is all about improving, 1, the resources, and 2, helping the student out. So as I said, look at the learning plan, and I would stick with that learning plan. Research. Well, as conveyancers, even when you finish this course, there's a lot of research. You know, like a client might come up to you and just say, you know, for example, I'm just trying to think of a question here. And okay, so what are you legally allowed to do? Okay, that could be a question. And then you could say, yeah, as per the Conveyancing Act 2006, Schedule 2, you will then know what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. Okay, so it's, as I said, a lot of research. In your tools, we actually published, or it has been published, different pieces of legislation that applies to your state or territory. Okay, so you'll get a list. It's not all of them, believe me, because there's a few, but we try to give you somewhere that it's going to be based around this course. So research is important. There's also some case law that you'll need to research. Again, you know, it's all around conveyancing. So sometimes you might have a question from a client and you go, okay, now I remember a case law about that. So again, research. If you want to buy some textbooks, there are textbooks out there that you can buy. Stephen Graw, he's just brought out the 11th edition. Very good. And it's all about contract law. It's a very, very good research book. Now, the assessor's feedback. Once you've gone through the process of looking at your resources and you've looked at, you know, the webinars, your learning guides, and you're going to start answering your questions. Now, there might be 8 in one assignment, there might be 10 in another assignment. It just depends, okay? So again, just look at the question that's what's been asked of you, and then take your time. once you complete the course or the assignment, then you'll need to sign off on that, and you'll need to, excuse me, first of all, advise that, it's your own work, because it has to be your own work. We also ask that with every answer that you do put in, that you cite where you've received your information. For example, it might be a piece of legislation and section, or you might have got it from your learning guide, 1.2, identify client needs, something like that, okay? So then we can validate your answer. Feedback, we try to give you as much feedback as we possibly can without giving you the answer. As a trainer and assessor, I'd love to do that, but I'm not allowed to. So we will either put, look, why don't you look at section, and I'm just going to use that one again, 1.2, identify client needs. I think there's a better answer in that part of the workbook, okay, without then saying, then I want you to give me this. So we try to direct you. It's the same as, the feedback that we give you with regards to legislation. There might be a question about conflict, and the trainer and assessor might come back and say, you're on the right track here. Would you be able to provide the legislation or regulation and a section? So then we know that you're doing your research, okay? So that's about the advice I can give you. As I said, I've done this course. The course has been dramatically improved over time. When I did mine, it was all manual. Now we're all online, and it's much easier to move around. The resources, again, I can't stress enough, they're there for you, so have a look at those. And if you're struggling, don't get to a stage where tools down, okay? Every trainer and assessor within NBIA offers one-on-ones, and you can get 2 of those a month. So take them up. They're very good. I've had a couple of students who have struggled since having their one-on-ones, have found it much easier. So I take that up, whether that's with me, the lovely Fiona, Paul, whoever that might be. Chantel, wrong Chantel. It's another Chantel, sorry about that. So take that into consideration. We're here for you, and our objective is to get you past and on your way into the conveyancing industry. So on that note, I'm going to hand you back to Kerry. Thank you for that, Kerry. And I'll leave that with you. I think I've covered everything. Is there anything else I should cover, or?
No, that's wonderful. I think it's just important, coming from a trainer and assessor, to hear what you see is important, and it's so daunting for people to sometimes get back into study. So there's a couple of things from my experience of speaking with people. One is, quite often they're looking for a change in their career. And so it can be quite daunting. You're going back studying, you're 40, you're 50, you're 60, you know what I mean? Like, it's quite daunting. So we understand, this is the new age of online, self-paced learning, but we want to really ensure our students that online self-paced doesn't mean alone. We are setting up the mechanisms to support. The trainer meetups are, I think, just essential to success in this course. We're one of the only providers that offers the unlimited trainer meetups. And like Carol said, if you're doing that twice a month, you're going to really achieve your qualification within that 12 months' time. So you've got 12 months to complete. The other thing that we hear a bit is, I think just people enrolling who yeah, just a fear of starting. And what we've found lately is that people will enroll, but and we have mechanisms to check in after a couple of weeks, after a month, where are you at? And sometimes after a month or 2 months, some people are still hesitant to submit an assessment. So that's something we're really trying to get people just to say, hey, you know what? You actually get 3 attempts with us for free. So, and that's also something that other providers don't allow. So you can submit the first one, just get it out there, is what we always say. Get it out there, and then get your assessor feedback. So the assessor's going to, maybe you get 1 or 2 questions not quite correct, but the assessor's going to tell you where you went wrong, what what you might need to do to get that right, what research you might need to do, or what citation or what reference. Go and read this and see what you can come back with. Um, and then you can resubmit that second time, and then you can even get that third attempt as well. So it's about not being afraid, just jump in there. And then in between all of those submissions, we recommend that you're having a one-on-one Zoom meeting or a team meeting. So through those teams meetings, you will then discuss, where am I going wrong? What's happening here? What aren't I understanding? Oh, I didn't get that. Okay. So now it's clicked, I've got it. So that's a big part of what I hear happening. The course is 12 months, there's 15 units of competency. So once you already think about that, okay, I've got more than 1 unit to complete each month, which is a lot. And I think that's the other thing is that without scaring people off, this qualification is quite amazing in that there's no prerequisite in terms of you do not need a diploma to do this advanced diploma. It's quite unique. And I almost feel like you need to jump in and do it before, as well as jump in and say, people are going to need a diploma to do the advanced diploma. Because it's very rare in my history that you can jump to an advanced diploma without having a diploma. So it's incredible, and it's only a 12-month course. And then on top of that, your licensing board authority, if you want to get your license, they'll tell you how much experience and things you need to achieve. But in terms of education, all you actually need is this course, the Advanced Diploma of Conveyancing, alongside the experience, and then you can become a licensed conveyancer and run your own business. So I think it's like the fastest way that you can get to a real secure career. And it is a growing industry, as we touched on last week as well. The government's plans to build, and it's just one of those industries that is continuously growing. Um, so thanks so much, Carol. I won't go on and on. I get a bit passionate about it, but I found that really helpful. And I'd love to introduce Chantel. So Chantel graduated with us and now has gratefully decided to come back and share that with you guys. So I suppose, Chantel, do you want to introduce yourself, and then we'll run through a couple of questions that we had for you. But if you just want to introduce yourself and say who you are and what you're doing, and that'd be great.
Thanks for that, Kerry. Hi, guys. My name's Chantel. Thanks for having me to have a chat about the course. So I recently graduated this year in June. It took me a little bit longer than the 12 months. So I actually come from a background of working at the Magistrates Court for 10 years. And then I left that to have my family, and I am looking to get back into the legal industry. But moving away from the Magistrates Court, I'm looking to go into the conveyancing field and hopefully set up my own business that eventually I can work from home and around my family. So that's the idea. So yeah, NBIA was the perfect choice for me. to start this course, mainly because it is fully remote, and the entire course will then allow me to be qualified as far as the education aspect goes, and that was really attractive to me, which is why, yeah, I chose the course.
Beautiful, thank you. So you're currently what kind of to get your license? Sorry, to get your license now, what are you going to have to do to get your license?
So now that I've completed the course in Victoria, the requirement is 1 year fully supervised by either a licensed conveyancer or a solicitor. So I'm hoping next year to move into that area. Hopefully, work part-time to make up the hours that that will then allow me to apply for my license.
Yeah, excellent. That's great. I think that's the part that a lot of people sort of wonder, you know, how am I going to achieve that? So yeah, that's good to know. And so with our course, you know, how did you find it? Just what did you enjoy about it? Yeah, what can you tell us?
Well, I thought the course was really accommodating for my situation. So for me, I needed to be able to have the flexibility around my family to complete the course. What I liked about it was that the information is all there. So you can access it at any time, and you can go back and reread everything. You can watch the webinars, they're up there ready to go. So for me, I would set aside a Sunday each week, which was going to be my study day. And for me, that worked because it allowed me to get into the zone instead of, you know, picking it up and putting it down every day. And it gave me a good run to be able to run through the material. So first, what I would do is for each module, each subject, I would read the learning guide. And then what I would do would be setting up the assessments. So I would copy and paste all the questions into a Word document. And as I'd be going through the learning material, I would read the questions and just make notes and write which section this question would be answered from. And then what I would do is before I started answering the questions, I'd go and read, I'd watch the webinars and go through all the learning resources and work out what would be applicable to this subject. And once I watched the webinars and reread the questions and went back and looked at my notes, you know, I could then take another day, another Sunday, to then go and do the actual assessments. So that worked well for me. 1 day of really planning, and the next Sunday just completing the assessments. And I found that run would allow me to get more done in a smaller amount of time, if that makes sense. So that was really, I suppose, beneficial for me to be able to do that, to set up my learning time in that way. And I mean, like you said, that it's 15 subjects and it's a 12-month course. So I sort of thought to myself, if I can knock off at least one subject a month, I'm doing okay. And some subjects I found were a little bit more challenging than others. So if there was a subject that wasn't too intensive, I'd try and do 2 that month. But if you organise your time and you stick to one roughly per month, I find that, you know, you can move through the course pretty quickly at a, you know, steady pace, I suppose. What else did I like about the course? I loved my one-on-ones with Carol. She was very helpful, and I suppose I think she got sick of me towards the end of my course because I would do my catch-ups with Carol. I'd have one at least in the calendar per month, and just to make sure that I was on the right track. You know, even though she would turn around and say, Michelle, what are we meeting for? You know what you're doing. I just sort of felt like that check-in and that feedback that I would get just gave me that confidence and reassurance that I was on the right track, and you know, I was able to ask any questions that I wasn't sure about. You know, I would sort of set up my time so that I'd have a good crack at the assessments and then have a catch up with Carol towards the end of the month, just to, you know, cover off anything that I wasn't sure about. Then I would submit it. I'd get the feedback and, you know, touch up the subjects that needed a little bit of, you know, looking at. And I was able to move through the course without too many issues. But you know, like you said, Kerry, we've got that 3 shots, those 3 goes, and I thought that that was more than enough to be able to successfully complete the subjects. So I found that really reassuring, especially, you know, being out of the field of studying for about 10 years, I think it was, since I did my degree. But starting studying again was daunting. And it's just getting into it. And once you start, you'll get into a rhythm and find your flow. And you know, it's amazing how you, I suppose, remember how to do it all again. You know, for those of us that have studied before. But even if you haven't, I found that the course was so easy to move through. There was a lot of help and reassurance from the trainers and the assessors that I think that anybody can really just get the support that they need from the content, the learning resources, and the material that's provided. I thought it was more than sufficient. And just in terms of tips, I found what was really helpful was bookmarking legislation, the relevant legislation. If you bookmark it, you're always going to be referring to it. You're always going to need it for research. So have them there, have them set up, and that'll save you some time going back and forth. If you know, Carol, she sends out a list of all the acts and regulations that you need and says, this is what you need, you know, bookmark them, and go back and watch the webinars as well if you get stuck, because it's amazing how watching it the second time round might just point you in the right direction.
Yeah, awesome. Love that. And I do like as well how you said just setting up your learning plan. Like you need to, you set aside a Sunday, you know, even if it doesn't work every week, you know, you can come back to it. All right, well, that didn't work this week. Well, that means, you know, we'll start back again next week. Like, don't throw it all out type of, you know, you'll be able to come back, you'll be able to catch up. But we've actually sort of started to release a bit of a separate learning plan that has how you're going to plan your time, so that you can visually sort of look at it and think, okay, how am I going to achieve that in 12 months? Because I think, you know, if you don't get started for the first 2 months, you're actually making it lots more challenging for yourself. And meeting with the trainers and assessors to hold you accountable, I think, is a great key as well. So, do you have any other advice or information for us? You've already sort of told us what you're doing, what you're planning. Anything else that you want to share with people who are thinking about doing this?
I think that the course, I you know, am just so glad that I was able to find a course that would meet my needs. For me, I had to have it fully remote, otherwise I wouldn't have the opportunity to complete an advanced diploma of conveyancing for me and my circumstances. So I'm glad that I was able to find a course that was fully remote, had all the learning material included, you know, the support from the trainers was invaluable. You know, any questions that you have, you can send off emails in between your meetings, and, you know, they were so responsive, and just really guided me in the right way to getting a successful completion. So now that I've got that, even though it took me, I think it was maybe 15 months, I might have pushed it out a little bit. But I got there in the end, and it's given me an opportunity now to get back into the workforce at my own pace. And it's just given me an opportunity to, do something that I can work from home, which I found for me really important. But I'm going to have to go out and get the experience, and that's just the next part, and that's something that I've just got to get through, and then hopefully be licensed and start my own business. Not something I thought I would do. I suppose maybe 10 years ago I couldn't see myself as a conveyancer, but I had a passion for the law and the legal system back then. I still do, and this is just an opportunity for me to get back into it, which I wouldn't have had otherwise. So I'm really, really couldn't say enough good things about it.
Oh, that's amazing. Amazing. Yeah, thank you so much. So great to have you and to hear from you about your experience. If you don't mind, we'll move along, but I think there's a question for you, but we'll come back to that at the end. So I'm conscious of everyone's time. So we can come back and ask Chantel a question there. Is that correct? Yeah. I've got Dimily in here too. She's telling me what I need to do. My trusty helper. So just to give you a little bit of insight. So last week we did run through all the ins and outs of the program. So I think that you can watch that on our YouTube channel as well. We can always share that with you later if you did want to watch that back. But just to, I suppose, go into a little bit more depth so that you can actually see what your learning portal will look like. These are our learning plans. So we do work through module by module, and when you start, we'll walk you through this as well and tell you how we recommend that you work through it, unit by unit. And then when you can see there's module 1, module 2, module 3, when you click on those modules, you'll then find all of your resources, the assessments, the webinars, any links that you'll need to use. This page also allows to, if you're sent out an announcement or something like that, you also can chat to the trainers and assessors through this as well. So that's sort of what your learning plan looks like. We also integrate a unit on PEXA. So we have a training site that you will go into, you'll log into, and you'll actually run through some PEXA activities as you would in the industry, I suppose. So once you're in a job, 98% of workforce is using PEXA at the moment. So this is valuable. You will have experience, and something that I would recommend that you would put on your CV if you're looking for a job, that you've actually used PEXA, because through this course you'll get to use that training site. It mimics a real site, so it's just training so that you're not actually going to impact anyone's settlements or anything like that. But it's a mimic of the real site. So you'll go through and work through some activities on how to do settlements and all the rest. We also use Leap, which is a software. You'll run through this program and you gain a Leap certification as well. So you'll get a certificate, and then again something else that you'll add to your CV. And I also recommend adding these things onto LinkedIn. So LinkedIn's a whole other kettle of fish, and I'm happy to do a webinar on that one day for you as well, to ensure that the stuff that you're learning in our course, that you reflect it to your LinkedIn in terms of when you're trying to get a job as well. So highly recommend, and that's what we're trying to do here: connect industry with our course, get that relevant experience that's going to set you apart from others in an interview setting. Dinnerly wanted to do a poll here for you guys. So we're interested to know what you would find the most appealing about this course. So the poll will come up on your screen. This is useful for us just to know, you know, what people are looking for when they're enrolling in a course. And we're just interested to sort of get your feedback. You know, we run the free one-on-one sessions with trainers and assessors. Payment plans are interest-free, which is not a lot of others offer that. So, you know, what we say the price is up front is what it's going to be still 12 months down the track when you pay it off on a monthly basis, which is kind of big for a lot of people. 100% online and self-paced, like Chantel said. It just worked around her and her family and kids, so you know that's attractive. Having webinars that are some are interactive and some are just recorded to to watch and things. The student Facebook group, do you use it to interact with others? Industry connections such as the AIC, FLEXA, LEAP, Track and Bay, all of the rest, all of the above. Is that just what you're looking for? You know, is this what you need? And that's what you find the most appealing. So that's great intel for us if you can just join in and add your poll there. Particularly online self-paced, I think jumps out at me there, and really all of the above. So yeah, can you guys see those results there too? Yeah, that's very good. All right, and we are just about to wrap up too. Dinnerly's going to put a feedback form in the chat. So if you do have to run away and leave us right now, we totally get it. Just if you wouldn't mind, there's 3 questions I think just to give us some feedback. This is the second of the conveyancing webinars, info sessions that we've run. Happy to do more for you guys, whatever you need. We love your feedback. The next couple of weeks, we're running some on our accounting courses as well. So if that's something you're also interested in. As everyone, we've jumped into the Black Friday excitement. So we've got take $500 off this course, which is the biggest deal that we do because we are very competitive in this space, and that is the biggest deal you get. So currently you get the course for $4,495, and that's running for another couple of weeks, I think. But feel free to contact us, have a chat with us, see if this is right for you, and jump in and get it while this good old Black Friday thing's happening. Don't we love it? I've got everything in my cart, you know, all the appliances that you need, and there's the course I need too. So we're going to go to questions and answers, and if Dylan, you can maybe just let us know what questions so we can address those.
Yes. So we've got one for Chantel from Musa. She would like to know, what are the subjects / modules that you struggled with when you were doing the course?
Yeah, well, I didn't have modules when I did it, so I just had a course list and was encouraged to just go through the list in order, as Carol said. I found, I suppose, the most challenging, just got it pulled up now just so I can tell you which one it is. It was the BSBAUD 601, which is Establish and Manage Compliance Management Systems. I found that one pretty tricky, and establish legal and risk management requirements of new business ventures. I found those a bit tricky because, you know, I've never started my own business before, and it was great to have them included, even though they were tricky, because they give you an idea of how to set up your business when you eventually become licensed, if you want to. So persist. It will pay off and give you really good insight at the end of it. Yeah, I found those ones a bit tricky.
Thank you for that. That's great. This is for either Kerry or Carol. So Troy would like to know if he can complete his 12-month experience while he's completing the course.
Did you want to answer that one, Carol?
I certainly will, and yes, you can. You can be doing the course and be employed at the same time. You don't have to complete the course and then look for employment. If you can have them running side by side, quicker for you in getting your license. So if you can be employed and do the course at the same time, yes, go for it. And also, you know, you'll be getting experience as well. So yeah, no, go for it.
Yeah, great. That's about it for questions. I think you guys covered everything pretty well. But if you guys do have any other questions, please feel free to pop it in the chat and we can answer them for you.
Yeah, alternatively, guys, contact us. We've got our details there. Phone number, email at info is the easiest because we all see that and we get back to you ASAP. Oh, I can see one from Vipin. What's the minimum? Oh, it dropped away. Sorry, I need Dylan.
What's the minimum hours for work experience?
I'll answer that one. Okay, so the minimum is 38. You've got to do 38 hours, okay, to be licensed alongside your advanced diploma, okay? You can do part-time, but that's over a 2-year period. Now, and you need to make up those 38 hours. So it's definitely 38 hours, 12 months or 2 years.
Just to jump in there, it depends which state or territory you're in as well. So, I mean, it's brilliant advice, and our trainers and assessors, Carol, everyone's always up to date with the latest. I do recommend to go to the licensing board to check with them directly, and they can give you advice around your personal, your own situation.
Because New South Wales has changed, Western Australia has changed. So yeah, you need to go to your licensing board to see. Some are still 1 year, but you need to check that. Go to the, as Kerry said, go to the licensing board for each state or territory. They're all different.
Yeah, absolutely. And just while we're on talking about all the states and territories, our trainers and assessors are based all across Australia. So even though we're based here in the office in Melbourne, in Victoria, our trainers and assessors aren't. So we have representation across most of the states and territories. So you can be reassured that your course, if you're completing it in New South Wales, if you're completing it in South Australia, or wherever you are, your qualification with us is nationally recognised. So we will go through with you in ensuring that you're using your state or your territory's examples, the case studies, the legislation and regulation that's around your state or territory. We also get you to engage with the AIC and the licensing boards in your own state and territory. All of that. Sorry, I think there's another question there.
So another question from Vipan is having any number of hours to cover along with the course. His question is, does 1 year of work mean total hours or a minimum hours per year? If that makes sense. So,
Carol, are you able to speak to that, Carol?
Oh, yeah. Again, you'll need to check because every state and territory is different. Okay, it is a 38-hour week, but how long? It depends. Again, New South Wales changed. They were 12 months, now it's 2 years. So you'll need to check if you're in South Australia. I think South Australia is still 1, but I'd be checking because they're all changing.
Yeah, our advice is always to speak to the experts in that area. We are the experts in your education. And once you speak to them, we're happy to have another chat with you. and we can even help to connect that relationship if you need us. You know, we're always here to help support in that way too. So yeah, beautiful. Well, we'd like to thank you all so much for attending, and we are running a couple of accounting sessions in the next couple of weeks. So if that's something that interests you or someone that you know, please, you've got the register here, links you'll be receiving. I'm sure you'll receive the emails as well. But please also fill in the feedback form if you've got 20 seconds. And we hope to be speaking with you and enrolling you with us soon. Thanks so much, Chantal. Thanks, Carol. Thanks, Dinnerly.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.